Ugh. Hey, it's Chris. Is Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth, the reimagining of Seven Wonders Duel, the best of 2024? The best 2024 has to offer? Well, let's go. Let's see. As someone who was not a big fan of Seven Wonders Duel in the first place. You ready? So Seven Wonders Duel at its heart is a drafting game of the pyramid on the left side of the screen you can see right here, where you choose one of the cards that's available to you. When more cards become open, you then flip them up and they're available for draft. And you rinse, repeat, mitigate through 3 rounds. And it was really a point-scoring salad buffet for the most part with the Seven Wonders aspect. Now with the Duel for Middle-earth, right? One duel to rule them all, or ring, or wraith, or fortress. It's not just one way to win, it's multiple ways at any point, at any round. And that is going to be either a big turn-off or a big turn-on, depending on how you feel about the middling of just scoring at the end and seeing who has the most point salad toss-up, right? This escapes that trope in, I'll say it, clever way. Because the big fret I had with this was, is it really just going to be a reskin? Is it really just going to, paste Lord of the Rings on it and go, hey guys, sell a bunch of copies, Lords of the Ring? No. No, 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 no. If that was your fear, if you feared that this was incomplete, if you feared that this wasn't going to give you enough choices, there's not meaningful choices behind this, Chris, you're wrong. There are. So what you've got going on here is you can win in potentially one of 3 different ways. One, the area map, which is completely new for this version of things, right? You are area controlling. You are going to be placing troops onto areas. You're going to be creating towers onto areas. And if you ever control all 7, or have presence in all 7 is what I mean there, then you win automatically. Again, no matter what round, 1, 2, or 3. Then the second victory condition is, well, you got the ring and you got Mordor here. What you've got is a clever little slide rule, essentially. You've got Frodo and the band, essentially right here, if you can see that, and they just move along and they slide along. Consequently, the ring wraith also slides right along with them. And as they pass over certain areas, you're going to get bonuses, and the ring wraith gets those too. However, the tricky part is you can see that the ring wraith actually doesn't get any further behind as we move the hobbitses along. Which means that really this is, again, a different way of a race, because if the ring wraith actually gets the ring cards, then it does get closer. You don't slide the whole apparatus, you just slide the acrylic ring wraith. And you can start to see that, oh, wow, that really, until either the ring wraith catches the hobbits and they win, or we get all the way down to the doom here, if I can not mess this up while dropping it, and the hobbits win. So that's essentially the second victory condition that you can have going on here. The third victory condition is your 7 wonders, but it's now with the 6 races of Middle-earth as you control them, and they're represented by the former science symbols, which was the most blah way to win the game. But again, with this one, it does spice it up a little bit, because you need only to have 1 of the 6 of each of them, and then you just win. Which is an incredibly dynamic experience and actually gives some tension, along with the little ring cards that you can see here, to move the wraith or the hobbitses in the first place. The last game I played, one player had 4 of the symbols for the races in the first round. That changes the dynamic of the rest of the game, and the tension was palpable. Instead of just being able to spread yourself evenly, having to be very focused on the pile here of the symbols that the other person needed, compared to then being able to control the area or control the towers, or let alone the ring. And so it is a delicate balancing act. I would argue much more so than Seven Wonders Duel, much more meaningful decision-wise, much more thematic incorporation, which normally I am not a huge thematic incorporation person, right? I think it's nice, I think it's quaint, but it's not necessary. This nailed it. This nails it to the wall, and it makes me freaking excited. Balrog is probably the only thing missing in this game, right? I want more craziness with that, but that's a whole nother issue. And just like Original Recipe, right? This game stays tried and true with a little bit of mechanic that, is from the original, where you've got the free incorporation symbol in the upper right-hand corner, which may allow you to unlock the card easily without the prerequisite resources on the left side there in a later round, which, again, wasn't a huge fan previously, but it still just interwovenly works. And just like in real life, and just like with Mordor, to the riches go the spoils, because if you just can't afford something, you can just pay for it and splash your cash in a resource-driven manner, if you will. Similarly to its predecessor, right? You've got your rounds 2 and your round 3 decks, and you don't use them all. So you don't always know what's going to be out there in your piles, even if you're card counting. The other dynamic are the places of power. It's got a little Res Arcana vibe, where you just have to be able to pay for it, but it's dependent. So what I mean by that is it's dependent on this little tower symbol over here. You're going to have all of these other ones to be able to pay for them, essentially. Or that's where your gold also comes in to count for those ones that you don't have that you can acquire from, like I mentioned before, the gold cards in the first place. But this is dependent on how many other of the towers that you already have out. And then you have to pay additional in order to be able to build these, because these are going to give very, very dynamic powers, very strong, very thematic incorporated in the integration of the area control aspect, because it gets you a presence in that area period that can't be removed. And this is probably the biggest criticism as a whole, is that when you have your little war and you put your characters down and then they move into enemy territory, all you do is just basically knock each other out and remove one from each side, and whoever's left still has people there and is controlling of it. But the towers don't really leave. And so that presence will remain. And since there's only one tile per area, that's a really easy way, although, albeit it requires significant resource allocation to achieve or to strengthen that side of things. And again, the other slight twist on things utilizes these in another way, because if you have 2, you get a bonus from one of the tokens of the race in the first place. Again, as a way of giving you another reason to grab the green cards. It makes the absolute fun nature of this game, of balancing all of those different aspects, the races, the places of power, the card flipping, the card allocation, what's randomly coming up, how am I going to deal with this, how am I going to hate draft, how am I going to slide the ring wraith across, or catch the hobbitses, or control all of freaking area on the map of the land in the first place. It just balances so incredibly well. You're going to have games that are going to end before round 3. And that's completely okay. You're going to have games that are going to stalemate, and then it's going to come down to whoever controls the most area on the map. And that's maybe going to be the most anticlimactic. But sometimes the excitement is not necessarily always in the end, but it's in the journey. Ooh, incorporation, Lord of the Rings style right there, right? And so you can get your Mordor walking party in whichever way you so choose, however you want to be aligned. And similarly, in Eras 2 and in Eras 3, these cards are stronger, faster, hyper, which means that there is going to be a significant ramp up in difficulty, as well as mitigation, as well as choices as you're going along. And it just makes it so freaking enjoyable. This is, hands down, for me, easily a top 10 game of the year. This very well may be, at the end of the year, the game of the year for me. And I went into this very skeptical. I held off for many weeks in terms of trying it or buying it. And then finally I said, I have to know. As someone, like I said, self-professed at the beginning of the video, that isn't a big fan of Seven Wonders, bought and sold Seven Wonders Duel, comparatively, I was one of those people that said, I don't think the decision making is really all that great with the original, so pass, see you later. Nope, I'm a convert. So what I'm really saying with this is that you should say the word friend and let this game into your collection, because it gives an absolutely fantastic 2-player head-to-head drafting, same information style game, and it just makes it a lot of fun without feeling like it was just a reskin. And so I cannot endorse this enough. This is absolutely tremendous. It is worth the hype. It meets the hype. Honestly, it actually exceeds it. It's better than I was expecting. I set the bar here, and it was here for me without any question, even after play number 1. And so if you are a doubter, it is worth consideration. It may not change your mind. It may not be enough from those aspects for you, right? Some of the cards aren't going to be in your favor. Some of the places of power just are going to come out the wrong time. You may not get the slight area control vibe that you really want because it's not, heavy enough from that aspect. You might not like the fact that the ring wraith can only get closer and not farther away on the track. No, it's freaking fantastic. Absolutely not overrated whatsoever. Easily going to be one of my most played games of the year. Easily going to be one of my best games of the year. And I am so happy I bought it. So there you go. My thoughts on Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. Wholeheartedly endorsed. Stay classy. Peace out. Have a great freaking day.